Every year, the Cleveland Magazine comes out with its list of the top 20 suburbs of Cleveland. And in this video, I'm going to go in depth into what they chose for this year's #1 suburb. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Living in Cleveland. I'm Patty sells CLE, and I make videos about all things Northeast Ohio, Northwest Ohio, and even down south. You know the drill. If you don't want to miss any of my videos, hit the subscribe, hit the like, leave a comment. I love them. Okay. Cleveland Magazine. Here we go. I get it. Obviously, I'm Patty sells CLE, and my channel's Living in Cleveland. I better get the Cleveland Magazine. Here's my boyfriend, Kevin Love. And it's December 1st. But in May, Cleveland Magazine comes out with, I don't have the exact publication, but every May they come out with its list of the top 20 suburbs, and everybody always is excited to see, is my suburb going to get in the top 20, in the top 10, or the coveted #1 spot? And honestly, over the past few years, it's been the same 3 or 4 suburbs that go back and forth. They go, this year they're #1, then they were #2, maybe they dropped down to #3, but usually not. I just did a video on the #2 suburb that they rated just a few weeks ago, but it's the #1 suburb on the west side, and that of course is Rocky River. Now, this year's coveted #1 spot goes to an east side suburb called Beechwood. So let's talk a little bit about Beechwood. I'm going to give you 10 reasons why I think Cleveland Magazine picked Beechwood to be their #1 spot. And now, and if you've been watching my videos, you've obviously have heard me talk about the east side versus the west side. And, people on the west side and people on the east side don't like to go over the bridge across the river, they call it. So it's kind of like a little bit of a rivalry. And I will have to say that there are more east side suburbs in the top 20 list than there are west side suburbs. And that may be because, well, they're older communities, to be honest with you. And one of the big things about the Cleveland Magazine, they really take a lot of things into account. So I'm going to take that and, address that when I go over the top 10 reasons, and they're not in any order, but top reasons why I believe that Beechwood snagged the #1 spot. And let's just go straight in. I'm a former teacher, and anytime I get a call from a prospective client, 9 times out of 10, what top of mind are school systems. So, and that's one of the reasons why Beechwood is nationally ranked. It's ranked in the top 1,000 schools nationally, and it's ranked number 36 in Ohio. So really, they're excellent schools, and they're ranked 36 in Ohio. But I do want to let you know, and they have awesome programs. They are blue ribbon school. The high school offers Chinese, Hebrew, Korean. They have partnerships with University Hospitals. They have with the Cleveland State Engineering programs. They have wonderful programs. But I do want to let you know that there are several schools that have ranked higher than Beechwood, such as Solon ranks top just in the Cleveland area. There's Solon, Chagrin Falls, River, Hudson, Broadview, Brecksville Heights, Bay Village, Orange, Avon. There's a Cleveland School of Science and Medicine, Avon Lake, and then we get to Beechwood. But that being said, those are all top-notch schools. So Beechwood really ranks up there with a top-notch education system. And their programs are, unparalleled. They have a great music program, just lots of things going on with the schools. Okay, so moving on, #2. You think of kids, you think in rec centers, recreation. They got an amazing aquatic center. Now it's December, and I think it's like 99,000 square feet, this aquatic center. And when I did do a video on Beechwood, but I think it wasn't open yet. It might have been in the spring or whatever. So I haven't been by there when it's open to see. But they have this huge aquatic center that they're very, very proud of. They have all kinds of parks. They have a dog park. They have a community garden. Their rec center has all kinds of classes. They have camps for Christmas break, spring break, summer break, sports leagues, anything you would expect out of a community rec center, they have. They also have Acacia, which was a country club. I didn't realize, when I was doing research for this video, I know where Acacia is. It's like right across the street from Beechwood Mall when you get off Richmond Road. Now, technically, it's in Lyndhurst, which is right on the border. In fact, I was out there the other day. I mean, one or two streets over, and you're right in Beechwood. But I was having lunch with a client that just moved here from Texas over the summer. I helped her find a home in that area. And we went to lunch the other day, and she was telling me that she didn't know. She was taking a walk around her neighborhood, and there was a little stone path, and it led into Acacia. And I'm like, isn't that a private country club? Well, no, it's not anymore. It belongs to the Cleveland Metro Parks. And if you just watched one of my last videos, you know how big a fan I am of the Cleveland Metro Parks. So it used to be a country club and a golf course and all that. And it is no longer. Just in March of 2022, the country club was demolished. And I think they have all kinds of like walking trails. So a great place right there by the mall. I mean, you're in this urban area and boom, you have a ton of green space. And I know they're working on improving it and bringing even more green space to the area. So their park system, I mean, it's Cuyahoga County. So they're part of the Metro Parks. And, you know, and when I was having lunch with my former client, actually they all stay my clients, and she was saying, you know, like, hey, people are like, why would you move to Cleveland? And she's like, I'm even more impressed with Cleveland than I ever thought I'd be. She's like, the park systems are great. The libraries are great. Now, granted, she likes the Beechwood Library better than the Lyndhurst Library. And it sounds like she's doing a lot of stuff more in Beechwood than she is in Lyndhurst. So I'm going to have to do a Lyndhurst video. I don't think I've done one yet. Okay, so we got recreation. Awesome. Now let's talk about safety. Niche.com, and I go back to Niche.com all the time. I do a lot of my research from there. And that's one of the big things that Niche.com talks about is safety. And while we're at it, Beechwood gets an A+ overall as a great place to live. And safety was the lowest one, C+. And I think that's because there are major shopping centers in Beechwood. And the biggest, they break it down into what kinds of crimes are going on. And the biggest one is theft. And anytime you're by a mall, that's what you're going to get. And I know another client of mine, she was working at Beechwood Mall at the Aveda store, and she was kind of shocked because she grew up, you know, in the area and would go to the mall when she was younger, and then it moved to Canada and came back and was working in this mall. And she's like, what happened? Like, there's fights all the time, and the cops are getting called to break up fights. And I'm thinking it's because there's not many malls anymore. There used to be Randall Park Mall, and I think that's gone. So there's no malls for kids to hang out. And that's what kids do. And, you know, unfortunately, things happen when you have teenagers. So, yeah. So safety is, you know, but when you have true crime, there's really not a lot going on. You can feel very safe in your homes when you're in Beechwood. Okay. Now, you're living there. You're buying a home. And one of the big things I always talk about what the property taxes are. And East Side is usually way higher than the West Side. And I've talked about this many, many times. The highest property tax values in all of Cuyahoga County is Shaker Heights, 5.25%. Cleveland Heights, 5.34. Oh, I guess no, Cleveland Heights is higher. And then University Heights is 5.29. Shaker's low at 5.25. Well, guess what? Beechwood's 2.8. That's insane. That's like almost half. Anything under 3% in Cuyahoga County, you're spot on. So that's a huge, huge deal. When you're looking to buy a house, you know, first thing when I write an offer, I call, you know, if the house is being mortgaged, I call the lender and I say, okay, we're getting ready to write an offer. This is what we're thinking, especially if we're going to the top of their budget. This is what we're thinking about writing the offer at. Is this doable? And the first thing the lender will ask is, what are the taxes? Because that can make it or break it. So if you're looking for a really, really nice house, and hey, you know, and I used to say this like before I realized the tax situation, like, oh my God, Shaker Heights is so beautiful. You can get this house for only blah, blah, blah. And my husband would say, yeah, but did you look at the taxes? And I go, oh, yeah, that like doubles our payment compared to what we're paying on the West Side. So low taxes, and that's huge. And why are there low taxes? Well, I'll tell you, because of all the business in Beechwood. So in addition to the shopping, which that's another number, of why I think Beechwood made the top list. But the businesses in Beechwood, you have Chagrin Highlands, which houses the UH Medical Center, and it's got the Eaton Corp. It's the North American headquarters. So on top of all kinds, my first job out of college, I worked in Beechwood, Leaseway Transportation. And my job was to call in the stickers on the side of the trucks, like the IFTA and all these little stickers, because you have to have stickers to go into every single different state, and I'd have to get license plates for trucking. It was crazy, but it was a good job. But yeah, I had to drive to Beechwood every single day from the west side of Cleveland, from Camp's Corner. So lots of businesses out there. And then, okay, so which was my number 6 reason of why Beechwood is so awesome, because those businesses help bring your taxes down and keeps your city vibrant. So I'm going to backtrack now to number 5, which does help the tax rate, but it's also good for people like me. It's the shopping and the dining. Beechwood Mall, Legacy Village. I mean, I still go out there. Like, hey, there's no Crate and Barrel. If you want to go to Crate and Barrel, you got to go to Legacy Village. There's none on the west side. If you want to go to Nordstrom, you got to go to Beechwood Mall, because there's only a Nordstrom rack at Crocker Park, and it's not all that. Saks Fifth Avenue, we don't have it on the west side. You got to go to Beechwood. Let's see, what else? Restoration Hardware, got to go out there. Pottery Barn, got to go out there. So they have the, Lily Pulitzer. I was just, when I had to charge my car after lunch the other day, and there was a charger in Legacy Village. So I'm like, well, I'll plug it in and walk around. Well, it's not a high speed. I got 7 miles. Whatever, but I'm walking around Legacy Village, and there's a Lily Pulitzer store. I'm like, hello, that does not happen on the west side. So the shopping out there, and let's talk about restaurants in addition to that. Any fine dining you can think of is out there. They have a Brio, which Brio's just a chain, I know, but we don't have Brio anymore on the west side. It was at Crocker Park. It was one of my favorite things. It was easy to get a gift card. They had awesome happy hours. But addition, they just don't have, like, we ended up going to lunch at Yours Truly the other day. I love Yours Truly. When I went to college at John Carroll, I found it. Somehow I fell in love with it. They have these not-so fries, or like these little cottage fries. And they got bacon and then cheese, and then they put sour cream on them. They're to die for. And actually, I took my former client there for lunch the other day, because she had never been there. She's from Texas, and I wanted to take her someplace that, was kind of local. It is a chain, but it's only like, there's one downtown, and then they're all like on the east side and down south in Hudson, none on the west side. And she really loved it. She had an amazing salad, and she's got a granddaughter who she thought would absolutely love those fries. So lots of shopping and dining. The mall is expanding. It's 47,000 square feet and expanding, and the shops around it. I think we're going to head back out today, because it was really dreary on Tuesday when I was out there, and I wanted to get some more footage to put in this video, and it's a nice sunny day, so hopefully you'll be able to see some of this sunny clips when this is all done, this video. Okay, so now let's move on. Now let's start talking about homes. So we know that the taxes are low. What kind of neighborhoods do we have? Well, one of the things the Cleveland Magazine really looks into is walkability. So that they get an A+ for walkability. Lots of older neighborhoods. It is an older suburb. So while there is new construction, there are a lot of, especially right around the town center, a lot of older neighborhoods. The median home price is $350,000. So that's actually pretty low. And you have a really nice mix. There's a ton of condos. So if you really aren't looking for a house to take care of, you want a condo situation, there's plenty of condos. And then there's beautiful estates up to $2 million. So all kinds of home situations to fit your needs and your budget. And right now there are only 17 homes for sale, which is kind of crazy, because things are starting to pick up in this market. The interest rates are kind of evening out, but there are 17 homes for sale. The lowest one is a condo for $185,000, but it's like a 2,100 square foot condo, 3-bedroom condo. And then the highest one is like 2.5, this beautiful estate. I've actually showcased up here. This house up here on Fenway is $359,900. It's a 4-bedroom colonial, very nice neighborhood, walkable. And then this other one on Bridgeton, and that's right off Richmond Road. which is right by the mall. I drove by it the other day. Like, you could walk to the pool, walk to the mall. That's $529.9, which you're going to get for $529.9. It's updated. It's a larger home and a well-established community. So $529.9. You're probably going to look between the 4 and the 5s if you really want, you know, the larger home, you know, a little more upscale, you know, granite countertops, quartz countertops, whatever that you're looking for. But that's anywhere. Same thing on the west side, between, you know, mid 4s to low 5s. You're going to get a pretty nice house. And then I also wanted to showcase this beautiful on Maidstone, which is also right off Richland. It's 1.34 million. It looks pretty nice. It's huge. It's got 6 bedrooms. Holy moly. Okay, so we're getting there. I lost count. So the homes, wide range of homes, a home to fit any budget, awesome schools. And what else? Here's my problem with the East Side. And I've talked about it when I did my Shaker video, my Cleveland Heights video, my University Heights video. It's so hard to get to those suburbs. Like, you have to drive through, like, not so really nice neighborhoods. Not so with Beechwood. I think I have the map up here. You can see that 271 goes all the way down. And you can get to 271 from almost anywhere. You can get to it from 480. You can get to it from 90. So there's so many different ways to get to 271, which is probably why Beechwood is such a hub for business. Like, when I lived in Cam's Corners after college, I hopped on 480 and I went to 271, and boom, I think I got off at Cedar Road and it was just right there. So, or you can take 90 and get out there. So it's really accessible, which is huge for that, especially with the shopping, because you don't want to have to drive and go through Lord knows what, all these different neighborhoods. Just get on the highway, get off the highway, take a right, boom, you're there. So very accessible. And the last one, which I really think is important, is very diverse. Niche.com gives it an A+ for diversity. And a lot of people are really, really looking for that diversity in their community. The East Side has a very large Jewish population. There's a lot of synagogues out there, which you don't really have on the West Side. In fact, I never saw an Orthodox Jewish person until I was a freshman in college. And I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Because we just don't have a population like that. We're pretty sheltered on the West Side. So it's very diverse. All kinds of people, all kinds of nationalities. And it just creates this cultural, I mean, there's this museum for Jewish history. You're so close to University Circle. There's just so much culture in Beechwood just because of their diversity. And it's just fascinating. I remember when I worked in Beechwood, we would walk, there was a cemetery, and it was a Jewish cemetery. We would go out for a walk in our lunch break, and just how they, put the stones on the coffin and all that and stuff I just really didn't know about. It was just absolutely fascinating. So that being said, these are the reasons I think that Beechwood claimed the top spot this year. Now, a couple years ago, I was rating it. It was like the number 2 spot. Last year, I think it was number 2. It'll probably be number 2 again next year. Maybe Rocky River will shoot up to number 1. Who knows? Maybe somebody else will, take the lead. But Beechwood pretty much checks off all of the boxes. So there you go. That's Beechwood. And hey, if you're looking to move to the Cleveland area, be it in Beechwood, be it on the west side, be it down south, I'm a lifelong Clevelander. I know the west side. I know the east side. I know the south side. I haven't gone anywhere in very, my whole life. So there you go. Give me a call. My info's down there. I answer my phone. I answer my emails. Give me a call. I'm here to help. And I hope you enjoyed Beechwood.